Yeah, let's talk about that. So BC, I think for the first time in nearly a century, is poised to have a conservative government of some form. From my lips to God's ears, let that be true.
Yes.
But John Rustad, the leader of the Conservative Party, he has cannibalized the other right of center party into his own. And he's got a lot of momentum. People are sick and tired of the NDP making life more expensive. And he is doing and saying conservative things. This is unafraid conservatism happening in British Columbia. I never thought I would see it in my lifetime. And people are reacting to it positively. And, you know, he's been coming out strong on other issues of personal choice. And he said that he would follow the Alberta model, I guess, on firearms rights and not direct policing resources to snatch guns from the law-abiding, and he believes in firearms rights. And of course,
regarding your party's position on federal gun laws, you said at a meet and greet in Fort St. John on August 12th, quote, "You will instruct police not to enforce those laws," end quote. I would assume you were talking about Bill B-21, but can you just elaborate on what you meant and where your party stands when it comes to federal gun laws?
So I think the gun laws that have been brought in by the federal government looking to take away and to seize guns from law-abiding citizens in British Columbia, I think is the wrong approach, especially when you're out in rural BC and with people that are there. So from my perspective, I think that's an overreach by government, and so I will not have any provincial resources being spent on their initiative. If they want to go ahead, fill their boots, but that's not something that, from a province's perspective, we would spend any resources doing.
Cue the NDP outrage, right? This is how the NDP is framing this. I pulled up the BC NDP press release on this. It's on their campaign website. Rustad confirmed today, for the fourth time, that he would direct police not to enforce recent gun laws such as Bill C-21, which restricts semi-automatic weapons like the AR-15, 3D printed ghost guns, and freezes handgun sales. That's not all that Bill C-21 does. It also confiscates such notable, dangerous firearms as the Mini 14.
Yeah.
And a model of 410 bird
Just wait
gun.
for it, the SKS in the next couple of days.
Exactly.
Yeah. And, and that's the thing. And Eby has just started a campaign in the last few days, and he's citing that gangsters are using assault rifles.
Rifles have no place on the streets of British Columbia, and I will ensure that police not only are able to use resources to enforce the gun laws, but have all of the resources they need to be able to chase down and address gangsters who traffic in firearms and have restricted weapons. The idea that John Rustad has put forward and defended again yesterday in our debate when I asked him directly about it, that he would tell law enforcement they are not allowed to spend money to enforce those gun rules, is dangerous. And you can talk to Baltej Dillon behind me, a decorated RCMP officer, former RCMP officer, and he will tell you what that means for police officers in our street to lose that tool of enforcement when it comes to organized crime and gangsters. It's dangerous.
Okay, well, go get the gangsters' guns. What does that got to do with me? I'm pretty sure I didn't see. I don't see the gangsters at the PAL course.
Yeah, it gets better though. He referred to handgun owners as gangsters in a recent radio debate he had. He actually called licensed, law-abiding handguns owners as gangsters.
Journalist said, "Are you going to enforce? You're going to make sure that British Columbia enforces federal gun rules restricting handguns and semi-automatic rifles?" And John said, "No, I'm going to direct police not to put any resources into enforcing federal gun control rules." Well, that doesn't make our community safe. It has nothing to do with hunting. It is all about pandering to a small constituency, which is so small, I think is invisible, in order to, and it makes our communities less safe.
Okay, John Rustad,
what do you say to people in Surrey?
I just find it astonishing that someone who says that public safety is a priority would take that vital tool away from police to enforce federal gun regulations against gangsters in our province. Police are lining up to say it's an absurd proposal.
He wants to go after
handguns. John, are you hunting deer with handguns? With semi-automatic rifles? This isn't about hunting.
We want to go after criminals and crime, which is what, quite frankly, the guy who wrote the book on how to sue the police doesn't want to do it.
For the listeners, so you don't talk over each other, just finish your thought, please.
Police are lining up to say it is absurd that you would take that tool away from them that they use to enforce the law against gangsters
John
or
Rustad,
trafficking guns.
So look, we have a premier who actually wrote the book entitled How to Sue the Police. You cannot take his advice on how to tackle crime. We're going to go after the gangs. We're going to go after the guns. We're going to go after the source. We're going to make sure that our ports are no longer sieves.
He's trying to misdirect. You know, he's just. I think they're starting to feel the heat, and they're just dropping whatever they can. He actually said that the White Rock shooter, remember that little incident that took place?
Yeah.
That he used a full auto type firearm. That's a comment that Eby just made on the same radio show. He used a full auto. He used a full auto firearm, which is not right. You know, he's putting misinformation out there, and he's misdirecting on purpose is what he's doing.
Right. He is conflating the criminals with everybody else. And you know what's most outrageous about this, I think, is that the NDP have some former police officers running for them. And so they know better. They know that this stuff isn't true, what David Eby is saying. They know that the gangsters with their handguns that were illegally acquired did not sit through the same RPAL course that you and I did. But they're just letting the lie hang in the air, not correcting it. They prey on the lack of knowledge. I was going to say ignorance, but I don't think that's the right term. No. The lack of knowledge of urban people who are affected by these crimes. They think that you could just go give some guy $200 and get a handgun. And that's, I suppose you could, but that's not how we're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and you hit the nail on the head there, Sheila, when you said, it's not the good guys. It's not the law-abiding firearms owners that are the problem. He doesn't mention anything about smuggled guns, 3D printed guns, straw purchase. Doesn't mention any of that. You know, he talks about people like us that went through all the hoops to get our proper licensing, and then all of a sudden we're the bad guys. Just you know what? It's the Justin Trudeau speak duplicated is what it is. He's just taking Justin Trudeau's words and using them in this election, which for an NDP who have been taking a lot of heat lately on the federal and some provincial levels, they're aligning themselves with the Liberals, and I think they'll continue to do so. And it's unfortunate for the NDP, the real NDP voters out there, because their party is not the party they expect it to be.
Oh, hi, it's Ezra Levant here in Toronto with an important message because we need your help. Independent journalism in Canada is under attack. Government censors, big tech deplatformers, and the dying legacy media are all working together to maintain exclusive control on the information you receive. They don't want you to hear other voices like ours, and they really don't want you to be informed and to think for yourself. That's why the work we do here at Rebel News is so important. Our on-the-ground reporting, independent news shows, and special content you won't find anywhere else. It's all designed to give you trustworthy information and alternative viewpoints so you can decide for yourself. We don't get government money, and we are not owned by some big global conglomerate. We're funded by people just like you, so please support independent journalism and help us continue our work by subscribing and becoming a Rebel News Plus member today, right here on the page. Go to rebelnewsplus.com. Members get instant access to all of our shows, invitations to exclusive events, and access to our premium content like live event footage and documentaries you won't see anywhere else. Only Rebel News Plus members can join the conversation by participating in the comments section of our new website. That way you can have your say too. More than anything, though, you'll be able to take pride in supporting real, honest journalism, and you'll help our talented team continue to do the work to push back on the establishment. We really can use your help. We need it, in fact. So thank you, and enjoy Rebel News Plus.